Hello everybody, welcome back to our Reach Assembly, which obviously we're working on nurturing schools this half term. We are on a different day today, it's Thursday as you all know, and that is due to the fact that we had our lovely brilliant Shemai Day on Monday. It was brilliant seeing all of your photos on Twitter and looked like lots of fun was had right across the school, which is excellent, and diolch to Mrs Wood for that. So obviously we don't have phrase of the week now because you've already done that and done a lot of it. So da iawn for that. Okay, so today is our very last nurturing assembly for this half term. And then after half term, we're going to move on to Reach. And we're going to have a little look at all of our different things around the Reach curriculum. So we've done 5 of our 6 principles in measure. And today, the last one that we're going to talk about is the importance of transition in children's lives. That's the nurturing principle. In our words, we talk and prepare for changes in our everyday lives. So we're going to think a little bit about the word change now. So feel free to stop me, pause me, and have a little talk in your class. What does the word change mean to you? So we can experience many, many changes in our lives. Can you think of any changes that you have either gone through recently or something that has happened in school that's been a change for you? Have a little, again, pause me if you like and have a little talk about that. Think about some ideas. So some of our changes happen over a long period of time. For example, when we're growing, each year we get bigger and our hair grows and changes. We might change our clothes. Lots of changes around us, and also changes around things like the weather and the seasons. We've had a very rainy week this week, which has been a bit unfortunate after that beautiful autumnal sun that we've been having. And lots of many other changes around us in the environment. Also, in school, changes can happen, and some of these changes might be big changes and some might be very small changes. Each year, when we go up a year, we do have quite a big change, and quite often we have a new teacher, we might be in a new classroom, and this year, particularly for our lovely year 3s, they've had a change of building and had to get used to going on buses and all sorts of things. So lots of big changes at the end of the year that everyone's coped with very well, actually. But sometimes it's the smaller everyday changes that we do find a little bit tricky. And this could be the change coming from home to school or school to home. It could be changes that happen within your classroom, maybe if you go to a Read Write Ink group or to work with other teachers. Maybe if you've got your teachers out in a meeting or not in school because they're poorly, perhaps you'll have a different teacher for that day, which is quite a big change. Sometimes if you're going from the classroom to the outside to play, or a change in your routine, for example, a visitor coming in or your break time being a bit later. Lots of different small changes that sometimes can cause you to feel a little bit anxious and upset. And it's really important that we think about those tricky changes, because these can be tricky, especially if we're not expecting them to happen, or if there's not an adult there to let us know that it's about to happen. So what will happen in our school, because we're following the nurturing principles, is all the teachers will help us to manage our feelings by supporting us with these changes and making sure as much as possible that you know when changes are going to happen and what those changes are going to be. And if a change does happen and you do something that you're not expecting to do and it causes you a little bit of upset, the staff in our school will try and understand if you're upset and why you're upset, and try and support you in sharing your feelings around that time. So all around changes and all about ways that we can manage those and ways that teachers and other people can help us to support to manage them. I'm going to show you now a film clip, if I can make sure it works, so you'll have to bear with me. In this film, it's from a different school. However, there are some really handy tips around changes, and it talks a little bit about changes, and it also talks a bit about ways of managing changes. Okay, so I'm just going to, hopefully you will be able to see this screen.
This week's SEL lesson is on dealing with change. Sometimes life goes just as we planned, how it always has and how we expected. This is comfortable. We usually feel calm and happy because we know what will happen next. Then boom, a change happens. All of a sudden, things might not be the same, might look different or feel different. Change can happen in our families. Like maybe there's a new baby and you're a big brother or big sister. Change can happen with your friends. Like maybe your best friend is moving away. Change can happen all around us, like at school or the store or the zoo. Maybe all of a sudden everyone is wearing masks. When change happens, we might feel happy, frustrated, excited, or even sadness and worry. We might feel all these feelings at the same time. These feelings might become so big that adults around us tell us to calm down. Here's 3 ways for you to calm down when you're dealing with change. Number 1, find someone who will listen. You can talk to a friend or an adult. Number 2, you can tell yourself, this is hard, but I can do this. Number 3, you can practice mindfulness. Like this week, your challenge will be to practice color breathing. These 3 ways can help you stay calm and deal with change.
So some interesting thoughts there around changes and ways that you can manage them effectively. And also remember that...
Who's ready to hatch some cool pets? Click here to make your
Sorry about that. Okay, let's just go back to our main page and hopefully back to our PowerPoint. So whiz through that. Teams on an iPad is not as easy as Teams on a laptop, guys, and I managed to lock myself out of my laptop earlier, so I do apologise that I am a little bit ropey today. Okay, so yeah, so lots of different strategies for dealing with change in there. We've talked about mindfulness before, we've talked about talking to teachers, we've talked about talking about feelings, and it's just remembering that if you are feeling a bit uncomfortable or a bit nervous because something's happened you weren't quite expecting, just remember to share that with somebody and let somebody help you to manage that in the best way possible. All I need to say now really is have a wonderful, wonderful half term, everybody, and take care of yourselves and stay safe, and we'll look forward to seeing you back safe and sound after half term. So that's all from me for today, but before I leave, we'll just say our prayer together. Diolch I ti am ei byd. Diolch am ein ffrindiau I gyd. Amen. Thank you so much for listening. Speak to you soon. Dabach chi.